Hey everybody, I'm Curtis.
And I'm Hannah.
And this is Love at First Fright. I'm just now realizing that I don't actually... I know the tune to... what is it? Auld Lang Syne?
Yeah.
Or whatever. Like...
Should old acquaintance be
don't know
forgot
the words.
And never brought to mind?
Yeah.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and days of
Auld Lang Syne. Yeah.
I know the words.
Don't know. You just said them, couldn't repeat a single one. In one ear, right out the other.
It's the one New Year's song. Make some room in there.
No.
Squeeze it in.
It's not even like a good... I don't think it's like a good song.
Okay. That's controversial. I feel like it's really popular.
What other time do you sing it?
How is that the justification?
Sometimes you get like Christmas tunes in your head in the middle of July. Sometimes you get other songs.
Come up with other examples right now.
Halloween music. Sometimes you want to listen to that, and it's not Halloween season. Auld Lang Syne, you listen to it once, and you're like, that's enough.
Maybe you do.
I don't even think I listened to it once this year.
Yeah, I think you're I don't think you can speak on that for us. For the rest of us.
I wasn't speaking on it forever. I'm saying it's a bad song to me.
Okay. Well, then that's fine.
In my opinion, I don't like it.
Okay.
It's, it's kind of mid.
All right.
I don't know.
You don't have to justify it to me.
I feel like I do. I feel like I'm being judged.
You are being judged because I think it's a good song.
Pretty harshly for...
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's got that...
certain je ne sais quoi.
Yeah. Well, it's got that like kind of sad thing that have yourself a merry little Christmas.
Is it sad?
It's sad in that bittersweet, like it's about reminiscing on the old times.
Oh.
And so there's kind of this like...
Yeah.
There's like that sort of twinge of like sometimes when nostalgia hurts a little bit.
Yeah.
So
but what if the old times are a year that kind of sucked? So you're like, Yeah,
but see, here's the thing, is that in my experience as a person who's alive in 2025, is that things only get worse. So I am thinking fondly on 2024.
Take me back.
Yeah.
To any other.
I'm like, oh wow, 2023, great year.
Wonderful vintage.
Yes. 2022 even? Ooh.
I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, I don't really know the words, so I couldn't tell you if it was sad or happy. It's just there. It's a song, Mm-hmm. But I guess I get what you mean by, like, it's that kind of bittersweet happiness.
Yeah.
Like, have yourself a merry little Christmas.
Mm-hmm. That song's actually just straight up sad to me.
Merry Little Christmas?
Mm-hmm. If you really, think about the lyrics, it's kind of a bummer.
This is going to sound... I'm trying to remember the lyrics, and I can't.
You just don't know the words to anything.
I think I'm past all of the holiday stuff.
Blacking it out now.
So it's just gone. My brain is like, don't get that out of here.
New Year's has come and gone.
We'll remember it next late November. And then it'll be all you can think about for like a month block. And then we're going to flush it again.
Yeah. Well, I guess...
I barely got Frosty the Snowman rattling around up there.
Uh-huh. Just a tumbleweed and Frosty the Snowman. But I guess it's good that we're doing a New Year's Eve movie now then, because if we waited any longer, you wouldn't even know what the holiday was.
No, New Year, never heard of her.
Who is this diva?
She doesn't even go here. Yeah.
Well, happy 2025.
Yeah, happy 2025. We're here.
I guess.
We're 13 days into it now, which feels unlucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, we watched this on New Year's, the movie. We watched Terror Train. We'll get to that. I'm very excited to talk about it, but we're going to talk about some other stuff leading into Terror Train.
Yeah.
But we watched it on New Year's.
We had our good friends come over.
Yeah. And we watched it on VHS, which was
very cool.
Really, really cool. That 4x3.
Yep.
The big old black bars going down the side of the TV.
Slightly fuzzy looking and
like I said, it's got that warm tone to it. It's, something about how it's recorded on there. Everything, like all the sounds a little bit fuzzy whenever they play the music, and it gets that little bit of distortion on it, and you're just like, take me back.
Yep. To the good old days.
To the good old days of the 90s. And early 2000s.
Yep, that was it, baby.
It's like when we watch certain shows on streaming.
Mm-hmm.
And you go back far enough, like the early seasons of Survivor, and you can see that they're all the old aspect ratio, and they're like definitely not in like HD, and then like you get to the one season where they started going to that, and it's like wildly more crisp and everything. It's so funny.
Yeah, but it's funny because having watched this movie on VHS, it did make me, I think, fully understand and appreciate how people could be genuinely scared by 80s horror movies, because I don't really find most of them to be scary, but I think it's because I can see how fake it all is. Yeah. And they can't,
Yeah, well, we're watching it on the screen. That must have been unimaginably large for home television usage.
Oh, in the and 80s. I can't see shit because it's on VHS. But other movies that I've seen that have been remastered.
I gotta say, though, because this is the second time we've watched it, and I feel like the first time we watched it, because we did watch it through streaming, it was a little bit more clear.
Yeah.
But that's probably because it was filmed, like actually on film, and so it back in the day it probably did look and sound better at a movie theater, because it would have been on film, and then when we watched it the first time on streaming, it would have been digitally remastered, but now we're watching it in maybe the worst format, which is VHS, but also the best format because it's so fuzzy, it hides certain things. It does. Not from us, because we're looking for the bad stuff. Right. And the good stuff.
And there's plenty of it to be found in this movie.
Oh, this movie's a treasure trove of bad stuff. I've loved this movie.
Me too. But fun fact, this movie is actually what sparked the inspiration for us to start this podcast.
Yeah.
We watched Terror Train.
We were just looking for
I was looking for New Year's Eve movies because I was talking about how for all the other major holidays, you can think of at least one, one horror movie that fits it. And it was New Year's Eve and I couldn't find anything that fit the bill. And so I was just Googling horror movies that take place on New Year's. Yeah. And this came up.
Yeah. There's surprisingly few of them.
And the rest is history.
Yep. But we watched it and decided we got to do a podcast now.
Yeah, because we had so much fun dissecting all the so bad it's good.
This movie is
details.
Bad. It's garbage.
Yeah. But
it's best enjoyed over some everything bagel, pigs in a blanket. And
white wine.
Kind of mid Spanakopita from Costco.
We didn't have pigs in a blanket that night. We had mini quiches in Spanakopita.
You're right. We didn't have the pigs in a blanket from a different thing. So ignore what I said. Don't bring pigs in a blanket to this. It'll ruin the experience.
Ruin it.
You'll fucking hate this movie if you eat them during this.
And you'll throw up.
and shit everywhere. Oh God.
Mini quiches only.
The curse. Yeah, no, we had spinach and cheese mini quiches.
Yeah.
And
then more spinach in the form of Spanakopita.
And then some Spanakopita, and those were kind of
white wine.
Yeah, and some cheap white wine. Yeah, because we're white wine girlies.
Did a little birdie get in here? Cheap. Oh man, yeah, but we had a blast.
I think we still have the champagne. I don't think we even opened it.
Yeah, it's in the mini fridge right
next to me. We didn't stay up late. All right. No, we had friends over on New Year's.
All of us are old.
Yeah.
We don't want to stay up that late anymore.
It was 10:30 and they were like, all right, it's bedtime. And we were like, you're right. It is.
Yeah, honestly, I was surprised that we all made it that long.
Yeah.
Because, you know, our one friend, and I know she's listening, hey, she always...
I'm in your house.
We're in your walls.
That's gonna fuck her up.
We're throwing up and shitting in here because we hate the pigs in a blanket
while watching Terror Train. It's only when you eat them while watching Terror Train. Yes. It's a curse.
But you know, she and I are both sleepy girls, so
yeah. Well, I think you mix that with a little bit of wine.
A little bit of white wine.
Yeah.
And then we're very sleepy girls.
But on the topic of New Year's.
Yeah. You got any resolutions?
Yeah. Nothing like big and lofty because those are the ones that always fail. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to succeed on this one because it's a goal that I was already going to do. I'm just framing it as a New Year's resolution.
See, that's the best thing to do.
Exactly. I'm just trucking right along with it, you know?
The goal is like, my New Year's resolution, I'm going to get my physical. Meanwhile, you already made the appointment.
Oh, yeah. It's coming up.
So, you know, and you know it's coming. Yeah.
No, my New Year's resolution, as simple as it is to watch more horror movies. And you might be like, Curtis, you're gonna do that.
Curtis, you make a podcast.
Yeah.
You have a podcast about all the horror movies that you watch. Yeah. What do you mean?
But what I mean is that I want to watch more horror movies that I feel like I should have seen as a horror movie fan and buff.
Will say, and I love you.
Yeah.
I will say that for someone who is a big horror movie fan, you missed out on the foundation.
Well, it's because when I was much younger, knee high to a grasshopper, I was, to put it kindly, a scary little baby.
Yeah, you were too scared.
We were getting ready to go somewhere, and I don't remember where we were getting ready to go, but I had a TV in my bedroom, and I was ready to go. And I was like, I'm just going to put on a little bit of TV just to have something on while I'm getting ready. And it was like on TNT or FX or something like that. And they were showing what I know now to be a movie called House of Wax with Paris Hilton.
Fuck yeah.
That movie fucked me up. Okay? I got to the scene where I don't remember which character it is, but they're in, I guess, the Museum of Wax. And they're in a room, and they're, like, looking at something, and then the little, like, trap door floorboard thing opens up, and then the scissors come up, and they cut the Achilles tendon thing. I don't know that I've ever turned something off so fast, because I was like, I have to rip my brain out right now so I can forget that I just saw that. Yeah, that scarred me.
We had very different childhoods.
That, and I saw Psycho, and I won't relitigate all that, but, you know.
Yeah.
That messed me up pretty bad. So I was just a big scare baby. But as I've gotten older, and I can handle it a little bit more, especially, like, the less realistic horror thing. You know, like, vampires and stuff are just, like, cool and fun to me. It's the stuff like... I think I've told you about this before, but in Hellraiser, one of the big things that actually, like, really gets me and makes me squirm is fairly early in the movie when they're moving something up the stairs and the guy's hand catches on the nail. That scene actually really messes me up, even though it's like, it's a practical effect and it looks a little... like, it didn't age super well or whatever. But, like, that actually messes me up because it's, like, a more real thing that I can imagine happening to me. And I'm like, ah!
Yeah, but you can't imagine having, like, a bunch of hooks in your skin and then all your skin being ripped off.
No.
You can't imagine that.
No. When am I going to be in that situation? I'm not opening the one configuration or whatever.
You think I'm smart enough to do that box?
I love...
Hell no.
No, the thing is, I think I am smart enough to do the box, but I'm smart enough to know not to do the box.
I see.
I've seen it, you know? So...
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But that's my New Year's resolution, is to watch more horror movies that I probably should have seen.
Yeah.
Like when we watched Chucky. That was the first time I'd seen, or Child's Play, rather.
We gotta get you caught up on the the foundation.
Yeah, but it's fun. It's a fun ride to get to experience.
You'll get to see some of the origins of like what became tropes and stuff that you may have missed. But
it's also fun to go back and watch stuff that like I have seen before and like be able to see it through this like more appreciative lens.
Right. Like I'm an adult and I'm not gonna piss and shit because Paris Hilton. Wait, what?
I didn't say that.
You're still pissing and shitting?
It's a scary scene. It's the tendon cut, and then what are you gonna do? Crawl?
Yeah.
Probably not, because they're in there.
Yeah.
It didn't just snap by itself.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Anyway.
Gross. Well, I think my New Year's resolution is I want to roller skate with at least 6 feet away from the wall this year.
You can do that.
Yeah.
That'll be easy.
Hopefully. I don't know.
You got it.
We went on holiday break, so I haven't even been on roller skates in a while, so I've probably lost all the progress that I made.
But it's a fresh new year, so...
New year, new me.
It's like they say, it's like riding a bike, except for it's roller skates.
Yeah.
And nobody says that about roller skates.
No,
so.
Nobody's ever said that. And it's actually pretty easy to forget how.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's my New Year's resolution.
Well, I think you can do it.
Thanks.
We both can do it.
Yeah, we can definitely both do it. Yeah. So yeah.
Anyway.
Terror Train.
Yeah, let's talk about this movie because I'm really excited to talk about this movie.
Yep.
This movie rules.
Terror Train. I got some factoids to introduce y'all to Terror Train. So, it is a 1980 slasher film. It was written by Thomas Y. Drake, directed by, all right, let's see if I can say this.
You got it.
Roger Spottiswoode.
I think that's right.
Yeah, Roger Spottiswoode.
Okay.
This was his directorial debut.
Obviously.
And the concept of this film, surprising no one who has seen it, was the executive producer, Daniel Grodnick. He saw John Carpenter's Halloween.
Yeah.
And he said, what if there was a movie that was Halloween, but on a train?
And the rest, as they say, is history.
Yes, yes. One thing that I thought was interesting, because we were actually discussing this on our New Year's Eve rewatch of this movie.
Yeah.
How it very much feels like it was written as a Halloween movie, yes. And then they were like, let's just shoehorn in another holiday because we can't compete with Halloween.
Well, we can't have another Jamie Lee Curtis movie
2 years later
that is about a masked killer
on Halloween
chasing her on Halloween.
We can't keep
keep doing this.
It's ridiculous.
Although they can, it would just be under the Halloween
yes.
umbrella.
But interestingly enough, that executive producer, he was friends with John Carpenter and Deborah Hill, and he told them about his idea, and they both gave them their blessing, and they were like, fucking go nuts.
I want to imagine that he came to them and he was like, I got this idea. You can say no, it's fine. And he was like, what if Halloween but on a train? And then they looked at each other and then they were like, you know what, man? Go for it. We have all the confidence in the world that you can do this. And he was like, that's awesome to hear. I'm going to go get started on this right away. So he leaves the room, and then John Carpenter and Deborah Hill look at each other and like, are you fucking kidding me? That's going to bomb. Holy shit. That guy's never making another movie again. Yeah, absolutely. Let him make this garbage.
Oh, yeah. Probably semi-accurate. But yeah, it's the production history of this is a little bit all over the place because I guess they wanted to film in Canada, and there were also like tax breaks for filming in Canada at that time that they wanted to take advantage of to make this movie. So, but like there was some kind of rule in order to get the tax break, like you had to have a certain amount of like Canadian cast or whatever. And so they ended up hiring a bunch of like untrained actors.
No, really?
That are Canadian.
Untrained.
Yes.
You don't say.
Yes. And also like random like crew. Like they were just like, okay, we don't really need another producer, but we need a Canadian one. So you're in, bud.
You're in.
Yeah, but most of this was filmed in Canada. There's a couple of pieces that were shot in the States. But the big thing, of course, is having Jamie Lee Curtis, who was hot off of Halloween and Prom Night. Yeah,
well, she actually was filming this like back to back with Prom Night. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she literally had like ended filming for that and then went straight to this, and they both were filmed, I believe, in Canada, but just in different parts. So.
Right, yeah. But we, of course, have Jamie Lee Curtis as our lead, Alana Maxwell, and then there is another hot celebrity in this movie, and you'll never guess who it was. I'll give you a second at home to play along. What 80s celebrity
think of
in this movie?
Yeah, think of like fan cast it.
Yeah. Wrong. It was David Copperfield, the magician. David Copperfield was a rising star at this time in his career. Like he had some specials and was definitely like...
He was known.
He was definitely known. So it was kind of this weird thing of like... There were actually celebrities in this slasher movie by their standards, because you had David Copperfield, Jamie Lee Curtis, and then you had an actor who I had never heard of and have never seen in anything else, but according to the Wikipedia was quite popular at the time. And that was Ben Johnson, who played the train conductor.
Which is why he gets so much fucking screen time in this. Yeah, he was
also like very famous. And apparently he only agreed to do the movie if they took out some of the foul language.
Hell yeah. So... Man's got standards.
Yes, but that was one thing that was kind of special about this movie, and one reason why they actually thought this movie was going to be a big hit, because it was at this time of like horror is so popular, and like we had Texas Chainsaw, and like all these things are like it's the hot new genre, and they have real celebrities, not nobodies.
Real actual celebrities.
Yes. But then of course it was a massive box office fail. And what people have said is that is probably largely to do just with oversaturation in the market, not because this movie is like so much worse in comparison to all the other horror movies that were coming out around that time. Like it's pretty on par with the quality and the writing and everything. But I mean, just think about 1980. We had Friday the 13th, Prom Night. Like there's so many.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you just kind of look at the filmography of just Jamie Lee Curtis from 1978 when Halloween is released, in a 2-year period, she is in Halloween, then in 1980, Prom Night, Terror Train, and another John Carpenter movie, The Fog. So like extremely saturated market.
Yes.
So like of course this isn't going to do well. Yeah. Especially I think when you compare it to culturally significant and like smash hit movies like Halloween. Like Halloween was revolutionary. People love The Fog, you know. But people aren't talking about Terror Train and Prom Night all that much.
No, it's kind of fallen into obscurity. Yeah. But I think all people were, like, the people who worked on it were actually kind of surprised that it happened that way, which I think is interesting. Yeah. But, yeah, it's, you know, so they had the 3 big hot celebrities, but then the rest of the cast was fairly unknown. Some of the most important people, we had Hart Bochner as Doc, Sandy Curry as Mitchie, Timothy Weber as Mo, Anthony Sherwood as Jackson, and then the kind of villain of the movie was Darren McKinnon as Kinney. And Derek McKinnon, what I was reading was that he was not like really like a professional actor or anything. He was actually a pretty popular drag performer in like
that actually makes a lot of sense.
Montreal or something, where that they just sort of happened upon. And big, I guess, spoiler alert, yeah, is that the big twist of this movie is that at the end, the killer has sort of been in plain sight the whole time, but they have been dressing as a woman, the magician's assistant. Yeah. And so there's kind of this like, whoa, cross-dressing, you know, sort of thing to it. But I think that was part of why they were interested in a drag performer, was someone that would be comfortable like doing that. Yeah. And also, I just kind of want to say, surprising literally no one, considering the time that this movie was being made and generally how actors got treated like around this time. But I was reading some things that were like low-key kind of messed up, that the director would basically make like homophobic or transphobic comments towards Derek McKinnon with this whole idea of like, oh, like, he's an untrained actor, and so it's going to bring out the emotion that the character needs.
Use that anger.
Yes, and I'm like, literally fuck off. Yeah. Like, you're just homophobic.
Yeah, you're just a dick.
And you're trying to act in hindsight like it was all for the good of the art, darling. And, yeah.
Your fucking 1980
whatever
fucking slasher movie called Terror Train. Right. Which, again, the idea for this was, what if Halloween on a train?
Yep. Which, I will say, more writers should dare to dream in that way. What about, because I can think of a lot of them. What about Night of the Living Dead, but in a plane?
If there's not a zombie movie that has something to do with being trapped on a plane, like,
I don't even know
I'll
what
be
we're
surprised.
Doing here. Yeah,
I would be surprised.
What about? Gosh, what's a horror movie? For $1 name
so you named one example and then are struggling immediately.
What about Nightmare on Elm Street?
Yeah,
but on a cruise ship. What would that be like?
That would be fun.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah,
so that's kind of what we're working with here. And I will say, you know, just as if anyone is considering watching this movie, I do think it's worth a watch. It's hilarious. It's so bad it's good. It's all of that stuff. But, you know, of course, this is not the only horror movie that's gone in this direction. There's been a lot over the years, but kind of the problematic trope of absolutely. Like, oh, the killer is, you know, a man in a wig wielding a knife. And, you know, it kind of is equating like queerness with, you know, violence or mental instability in a way. So, of course, take all of that with the biggest grain of salt. Do you love Halloween? Have you ever wished there was another time to celebrate that fun and spooky time of year?
Well, now you can. Hauntfest is a Halloween horror festival business that celebrates Halloween off-season.
Their next ghoulish affairs will be at Nightmare Dungeon in Greenville, South Carolina on December 13th through 15th, and at Terrapin Beer Company in Athens, Georgia on April 4th through 6th.
Hauntfest events include all sorts of themed activities, such as hay rides, freak shows, fire breathing, live music, trivia, pumpkin painting, animal encounters, a haunted trail, and much more.
The festival also hosts an array of horror and Halloween-themed vendors, offering anything from tarot readings and antiques to original horror literature, macabre artwork, and jewelry.
Don't miss out on this opportunity. Get your pre-sale tickets today for only $20.
For ticket purchases, inquiries, and more info, please visit www.hauntfest.net and follow Hauntfest on social media. So the kind of like prompt of this movie is that a group of pre-med college students are holding a New Year's Eve costume party on a train, hence the name Terror Train. And people at the party begin to be picked off by a masked killer. And the main character, it's kind of a whodunit, but the main characters are all also grappling with a terrible prank that they pulled on a kid early on in their college career and wondering if like this is some kind of punishment for for that horrible prank that they pulled.
Yeah. It is kind of a whodunit, except for they put at the beginning of the movie them doing the prank on the kid, and then surprise, all of the people involved in the prank start getting killed. So you're like, so it's that kid that they did it to.
The twist is that it's that kid, but that kid is wearing a dress.
Yeah.
And is a magician.
Dude looks like a lady!
Yes. And is a magician's assistant now. And
but he also knows magic.
They kind of try to throw David Copperfield out as a red herring, where they're like,
it's so good.
Maybe it's this guy, you know? Yeah, so
it's so good.
It's a whodunit. It's a whodunit. And the options are, it's probably that kid or it's David Copperfield. And, you know, who did do it?
Yeah, when we were watching it with our friends, one of them, she was trying to guess how it was going to end and who did it. And she was all over it, but didn't quite thread the needle.
No one ever sees it coming.
so I guess it was a pretty good twist.
Yeah.
Like, if you haven't seen it, you get to the end because you're thinking, oh, it's going to be David Copperfield. And then you get the reveal that it's not actually him.
Right.
But then you're like, but then who is it? And then they show you and you're like, oh, well, yeah, I guess if...
Yeah, so it was what I thought.
It was what I thought. It was just the other one. Yeah.
But I also just want to say a couple of things about this prank.
Yeah.
So we see this prank at like a fraternity party, and it's 3 years prior to the events of the main events of Terror Train.
Yeah.
But they're having like an end of the semester blowout. You know, there's a bonfire, everybody's drinking, whatever. They're all wearing these stupid little hats and these stupid little jackets because they're in some kind of pre-med fraternity.
Yeah.
But anyway, there are clearly, like, this group is very much delineated between the haves and the have-nots. You know, there's the cool people who were kind of leading the party, and then there's all the, like, pre-med nerd losers with their glasses who, like, can't get laid and stuff.
Yeah.
And our group, the cool guys end up orchestrating this whole prank where Jamie Lee Curtis, like, pretends to be interested in having sex with one of the, like, loser kids. And he gets, like, lured upstairs with the idea that he's going to sleep with her. But then when he gets in the bed, they have stolen a cadaver from the medical school. And there's just fully a dead woman, a corpse. It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Because they do, like, another thing, too, where they present some kind of... At the same party, they present another, like, dead body piece. And I just... remember thinking, like, what the fuck kind of school do you guys go to that you just have these on hand all the time?
Yeah. The other body part you're thinking about is he goes to do like a handshake thing, and when he goes it's a dead person's
fully
hand that's been severed.
But
times are different, you know.
Yeah, like that was edgy back then.
That's what they mean by boys will be boys.
Exactly. But just an insane prank. And I also just want to put right up front, because Jamie Lee Curtis is our final girl. She's our scream queen. We're rooting for her.
Yeah.
At least we're supposed to.
Yeah.
I, for one, never root for her because she wants to act like she's so innocent. Where she's
definitely complicit in this.
I didn't know that they were going to put a dead body into bed. I didn't know there was going to be a dead woman there.
Yeah, to kind of like fully set the scene, she does this whole luring him up into the bedroom where this is supposed to happen. And then she has hidden, I guess... It's unclear if she can see him, but I think she can see him. But from the vantage point that she has, she would also, or should also be able to see the posed cadaver in the bed. And she, like, Kenny is the kid that they're luring into this prank. Mm-hmm. He gets up there and he feels like kind of uneasy about it. And then he's, I think, about to leave. And she's like, oh... Don't chicken out.
Don't go. I'm nervous too.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
And so he like strips down to his weirdly yellow underwear.
Yeah,
Kenny really is not not having a good time. And he goes to climb into the bed, and then we get the reveal that it's actually a dead body.
Yeah.
But again, they would have had to oppose the body. And she would have been able to see the body.
But she's acting like she had no idea.
Yeah, as soon as this reveal happens, and he's like,
but you're
a body.
Okay with pretending to be interested in this kid that's clearly got, like, massive social anxiety and other issues.
Well, that's just hazing.
You're fine. Okay with pretending to be interested in him and setting him up for some kind of prank.
Yeah.
But the fact that it was a dead body
that's
in the bed...
That's when you gotta draw the line.
That's when she's like, you used me.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think is absolutely fucking buck wild is that the sort of ringmaster, main guy of the cool kids pre-med gang is a person whose nickname is Doc.
Yeah.
And I just have to say right now, I've watched Grey's Anatomy. I've watched House.
It fucking sucks.
If he's not even in medical school.
No, he's pre-med.
A pre-med student getting his Bachelor of Science.
Explicitly not a med student. He's pre-med.
If a pre-med student had the gall to have a nickname like Doc, they would be mercilessly
absolutely bullied.
I mean, try to show up to your first day of residency and be like, oh, I'm Jonathan, but my friends call me Doc.
Yeah.
They would literally do a spit take at how stupid that
is. They'd fire you.
Yeah. You're not allowed to do that.
You can't do that.
Yeah. And that guy also sucks, and he sucks in that way that, like, I don't understand why any of them are friends with him, because he's just literally mean. Like, not even, like, funny, just actually mean.
And he doesn't even have, like, the redeeming, like, you could say, oh, everyone hangs out with him because he has a bunch of money. Because they actually cover this plot point when they actually get to the train. Mm-hmm. I want to jump back just a second.
Sure.
When we do get the reveal of the cadaver in the bed, one of the funniest things, which they do twice in the movie, they double down on it and, like, bless them for that, because it is so good. But Kenny realizes it's a body, and his reaction is to stand up in the bed and begin spinning while screaming and catching all of the little...
He's getting, like, tied up in the, like, canopy that's around the
and he's
bed.
Like, ah!
He's just spinning around in a circle.
He's just getting caught in it.
It makes no sense.
So funny.
I truly just... when this guy crashes out...
Yeah.
He is immediately looking for something to get wrapped into.
But to jump back forward, they cover this plot point because you think, oh, well, maybe Doc
he's rich.
is redeemable as that he's rich. No, he explains that he doesn't actually have money. He came up with the idea to do the train.
The, like, number 2 guy of the cool kids pre-med gang.
Yeah, who is Mo, and that is the guy.
Jamie Lee Curtis's boyfriend.
Yeah.
He's the money.
He's actually got all the money.
Doc's
so Doc,
the idea guy.
Yeah, Doc just fucking sucks.
Yes.
He's just bad.
Why are we friends with Doc?
Yeah.
And
he's dressed as a fucking monk the whole time.
Yeah.
It's so fucking dumb.
He sucks so hard. But anyway, all of that to say, they pull this horrible prank. The kid ends up being institutionalized.
Yeah.
Because he has some kind of mental health collapse.
Yeah.
And then we flash forward to 3 years later.
Yeah.
They're about to graduate pre-med.
And then one of them says, what if we do a terror train?
Yeah. And then they all say, terror train, terror train.
Yes, terror train, we all shout in unison.
But they're throwing this big, one last hoorah, because they're about to graduate and they're living it up.
Yeah.
And they're having a costume party.
Yeah.
On a train.
Well, as you do for New Year's, you have a costume party.
Yeah. For New Year's Eve, you dress up in a costume and you go on a train. Yeah. Everybody does this.
And one of my favorite things with watching this movie, the 2 times I've seen it now, and I think this is going to become a yearly tradition.
Yeah.
For me. It's just great. is paying attention to all of the other characters who are dressed in costumes, because most of, I was going to say some of them, but no, most of them, the effort into costumes really feels like last minute.
Yeah.
Which kind of tracks for like a party thing.
I think what gets me is the absolute wild range of people who like clearly this is like some expensive special effects, multiple pieces, high quality. And then we have pants.
And we have just pants.
Yeah.
My favorite, like, tertiary.
Yes. I don't even know what her character name was.
No, I don't know if she has one.
She may not have one, but there's a blonde in this movie that Mo flirts with, and we're pretty sure her costume is just that she's a pair of pants.
But no, it's not just that she's just a pair of pants. She's a pair of pants that comes up, like, over her chest.
Yeah. So it's imagine like a strapless dress, but it's just pants.
But it's just pants.
What you should imagine is one of those old-timey boxers, but the pants go all the way up.
Yeah. Or if you know, are you familiar with zoot suits?
Yeah.
Yeah, the pants being like real big.
And real high.
But just real high. Grandpa pants to the extreme.
Right over the boobala.
Yeah, right over the boobalas.
Yes.
But anyway, it's those, and they're like gray pinstripey pants. And I think she's wearing like, I kind of associate them as like 1940s gangster shoes.
Sure.
So it kind of looks like gangster pants.
Yeah.
From that era, gangster pants. But then sticking out of the center of it is a hand
with
holding a rose.
Yeah.
And we cannot figure out what this is supposed to be.
If someone that was alive and knew what was sort of hot, topical, what someone might wear for a party.
Google, what does gangster pants with hand flower mean?
Yes. Actually, turn on incognito.
Yeah, you're going to want to. Yeah, you don't want to just search that.
But I have no idea what she was supposed to be, but she was the star of this film.
Yeah.
And just what a great job.
She's in like, it's so weird because like we watched it the first time, just you and me, and then we watched it with our friends. And I don't feel like I recognized the first time that we watched it how many scenes she's in.
She's actually in a lot of scenes.
But she's like in a lot of scenes, like a lot of them. And she stands out because the costume is so fucking weird. She's
probably in this cast list, but gun to my head, I could not tell you
because they didn't,
who any of these people
They should have listed her as pants.
As pants, yeah.
Because then we'd know.
Yeah, like there's a character here that's called Pet. I have no idea who Pet is. Is that pants? Did they mean pet for pants?
Is pet slang for pants?
Yeah.
Is pet 1970, 1980 slang for pants?
So anyway, I have no idea. There's a lot of characters in here that I could not tell you who they are.
Yeah.
But great job, whoever you are.
Yeah. Good job, Just Pants.
Just Pants, you killed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of costumes. And I will say that this movie, one of my criticisms of it, that's actually like a real criticism and not just like, oh, it's silly.
Tread lightly.
I think it takes too long. Like there's too many scenes that are extraneous to the plot. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of scenes of like people dancing in the train. Mm-hmm. And then another angle in a different train where people are now lounging and sitting in the train. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, let's kind of tighten this up a little bit. Okay, let's edit.
Okay, good. Because what I thought I was getting really scared that you were going to say they needed to cut down how much magic from David Copperfield.
No, that was like the best part.
Featured in the movie.
We got a full David Copperfield special.
Yeah, full magic show in this movie.
So how he ties in is that they have hired, so Mo must be really rich because not only has he rented out an entire train, not just a train car, the entire train, but he has also provided in-flight entertainment, onboard entertainment, in the form of a magician as well as a live band.
Yeah.
And the magician and the live band both have, like, complex lighting cues for their acts. So there's also definitely, like, at least a couple of crew in this. We don't ever see them, but there must be.
Yeah. I do want to touch on really quick, because you mentioned the band, and I kind of forgot about it, because it's just another part of this fever dream of a movie.
Yes.
The band, their name is just Crime.
Which, honestly, that is hard as
it rules.
Fuck.
And I wish we had the rights to play
the song that they play.
Any song from the band Crime. But we don't, so go listen to...
On your own time.
Go listen to the band Crime really quick, and you'll know. Better yet, just watch the movie.
Watch the movie. You don't even need to.
You'll get a sample. But yeah, no, it's great. Mo has to be, like, exceedingly wealthy, because, he has this magician whose name is the Magician.
Yeah, he doesn't actually really have a
credited as
character
He's
name.
not playing David Copperfield.
No.
He is the Magician in this.
Yeah.
Which, little fun fact about that, it is, like, I think the only, like, acting credit that David Copperfield has. He's appeared in other movies, but as himself. This is the only movie that he's in where he plays a character.
Which is actually, it's so funny to me too, because from my understanding, part of the reason that he agreed to do this movie is because he wanted to, like, make a transition into acting.
Yeah.
And, like, kind of thought this would be a good stepping stone towards that, and it clearly was not.
Well, and I think part of it was, at least according to accounts about David Copperfield, was that I guess he struggled with some of his, like, lines in the movie, and he got, like, really frustrated with it, and was like, I'm not doing a movie again.
Okay, well, I'm glad it was his choice.
Yeah, I think it was, like, one of those things that, like, you know, maybe, like, other people, like Jared Leto specifically, should have, like, taken to heart, where they already had a career doing something, and then he was like, I want to be an actor, and then it, like, really didn't work out.
No.
But Jared Leto was like, how many movies can I get in and ruin and be, like, the worst part of?
Wow. Welcome to the Jared Leto hate cast.
Name a movie where he, like, knocks it out of the park. You can't.
No. He was in Fight Club, but the movie itself was good. He was just kind of there.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And again, it's like I said, if he's in it, he's, like, the worst part of it. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's watching it because nobody watched Blade Runner 2049 because Jared Leto's in it. You watched it because Ryan Gosling's the lead.
Fair enough. Yeah. So anyway, apropos of nothing, we hate Jared Leto.
Fucking fight me.
We hate Jared Leto. We love David Copperfield.
Okay, I feel pretty middling about David Copperfield. I just think it's fantastic that he is in this movie, and he does so much magic in the movie.
Yes, he does so much magic in the movie.
He has a quote about the movie saying, "Film is a magnifying glass for magic, so I had to be very careful. What you see on screen is exactly what the extras saw during shooting." And I find that a little hard to believe.
I have to call bullshit on that right now.
Because there is one trick that he does where he is in the middle of a car.
Yes, and there are people behind him.
And he fully disappears?
Yeah. That didn't happen.
No.
Unless they're saying that they, like, had a false floor that he just, like,
and
fell through.
Yeah, it's not a thing. Well, even if they did, it's not a thing where, like, he gets fully covered by a thing.
Up the cloth.
The thing's just held up in front of him, and then they drop it, and he's not behind it anymore.
Right. So there ain't no way.
So, yeah.
Unless David Copperfield is actually a magician.
If he's actually magic, holy shit.
Wow.
And he was trying to tell us.
He's been trying to tell us this whole time, and we didn't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were a couple of scenes because, of course, you know, when you're doing, it's all illusions, right? That's what it is. And usually the illusions require having the audience in a certain perspective, you know, so that you can do something else. It's a lot of, you know, oh, look over here while I do something over here. But there were times just with the nature of the train that I'm like, that you couldn't do that. You couldn't actually pull that off if this wasn't a movie.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But if he wants to say that's...
But maybe he did. I don't know. I'm not a magician.
I am.
No, you're not.
You You don't know everything about me, okay?
I know I've never once seen you do a magic trick.
Or have you?
Oh, wow. Hold on.
Yeah, but anyway, truly a delight. And it's very fun to realize that in the background of all of those acts was the killer all along.
I thought you were going to say it was Just Pants.
Just Pants, yeah.
She probably was
that
there.
Too, but
the killer is not Just Pants, by the way.
No, she's innocent.
And you will be relieved to know that Just Pants does live. She makes it through this movie, which is great.
Justice for Just Pants. So a big part of this movie, of course, being a whodunit and then people kind of slowly getting picked off. One thing I do think is kind of fun about it is that with the whole angle of it being a costume party, the killer is kind of doing this thing, and it's a way for them to avoid revealing who the killer is, right?
Yes,
it's a way to obscure them while still having them on screen. But they will kill someone and then basically take that person's costume so that they can reintegrate into the party to find their next victim. Yeah,
it's wild because there's inklings all throughout this movie that are like, these are fun ideas.
Yeah, there's almost something there.
Yeah, the killer killing somebody and then taking their costume and then changing it whenever they kill somebody else because they've hidden that body. Mm-hmm. So then people keep thinking that these other people are still around on the train.
Yes.
And they don't suspect it's this killer. It's great.
It's great.
Know?
Yeah, it just, the whole thing doesn't really come together in the way that you would want it to.
Yeah. They also, I mean, and there are just some like plainly goofy things that happen. That not the first person that the killer kills, but I think the second person that they kill. The guy is dressed as like this lizard creature thing or whatever, and he's drunk, and he like pulls him into this like bathroom stall thing on there on the train, and then the killer kills him by like smashing his head into a mirror.
Yeah.
Eventually, like, people keep trying to like use the bathroom, but like the killer's locked the door and left the body in there, so you know, people think it's occupied, or at least nobody can get in it. But eventually, I think is it the conductor?
It's the train conductor guy.
He's like just casually strolling through the fucking train.
Yeah, he's just doing rounds and stuff.
College, yeah, he's doing rounds, but he's also like weirdly stopping and like chatting with people.
Yeah, you know that they would be fucking pissed if it's like a bunch of college students who rented out this train to party on, and then this, freaking 65-year-old guy.
He's like trying to be cool,
coming in like, "Hey kids, having fun?" It's like, okay, weirdo.
Like, I think he tries to connect with Jamie Lee Curtis's character over magic because
they have a moment about it. Yeah.
And you're just like, hey, man, you're like ancient. Can you move on? Yeah. Jingle your keys and go.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. But anyway, he discovers the bathroom, sees that it's locked, and he's like, if you don't answer, I'm going to have to come in there, kind of a thing. So he unlocks it and he discovers the body in there. And it's all bloody. And then he has the wildest reaction to this, which is to calmly go back to where the other people who work on the train, their car is, pour himself a little cup of coffee, and then sit down and be like, well, someone's dead back there. And the other guy's like, what?
I know. It's so wild because at first it kind of makes sense, right? You're like, oh, okay, like he's going to quietly and calmly
he's trying not to make
the
a
door.
panic.
He doesn't want to start a panic. Like, people, there's a bunch of people here. We don't know what's going on. But then to follow it up with like, there is a moment, because if it was me, right, I'm gonna be cool, calm, and collected. I'm gonna close that bad boy up. I'm gonna walk calmly back, and then as soon as I get within 6 feet of that door, I'm fucking booking it, slamming the door behind me. There's somebody fucking dead back there, dude. Like,
oh shit. Oh my God.
Hyperventilating.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not just gonna calmly sit down and be like, and well, we certainly should just continue on, and we should post someone outside the bathroom to make sure that no one enters. It's like the decision making is insane.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I mean, I will give props that like he doesn't jump to the conclusion that like this person was murdered. He actually states that he thinks it might have been an accident.
Yeah, like he could see the alcohol bottles and stuff, so he kind of assumes, okay, this person was probably drunk. They must have fallen. Yep. They must have, gotten injured. No one could hear them because of all the partying.
And while his reaction, a little silly, maybe a little goofy, that's not even the goofy thing that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's later because he's now told people about the body.
Yes.
And the killer has like picked up on the fact that, oh, fuck.
Right.
They're on to me. Mm-hmm. So he goes back. The killer goes back.
Yep.
And cleans up the mess, the bathroom. So when they go to check the bathroom again, there's nothing in there. It's been all cleaned up. There's no blood. Mm-hmm. There's no alcohol bottle on the floor. The body's not in there.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, the body actually is in there, but it's the killer in the outfit.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. You're right. He's cleaned up, and then he has switched into the other costume, and he's pretending to be drunk, but he's cleaned up everything.
Yeah.
But the goofy part about it isn't even that he did that. That's kind of thinking on your toes. Oh, shit. Maybe he'll just think, oh, I tripped and fell, but I'm drunk. I'm okay now. Whatever. I'm just a drunk guy. It's the fact that he smashed the dude's head into a mirror and that nobody's questioning the mirror.
Right.
Would still be fucking shattered.
Unless he planned this and brought a replacement mirror along to install.
But like the mirror's not broken anymore.
It's not broken. Yeah.
So
it's just insane. And even one of my favorite moments in the movie is right before he reopens the bathroom and sees, oh, actually, he's not dead in here. It's, just this drunk kid. He's bringing his colleague with him, and they approach the door.
There's so many wild fucking things in it that I keep forgetting shit and then remembering. It's funny every time.
And he's talking to his coworker, and he's like, well, I'm so sorry you're gonna have to see this, buddy.
Yeah, he's like, this is the most fucked up thing I've ever seen. Here you go.
Yeah, it's like, you don't actually have to show him. Like,
it's the equivalent of, you want to see a dead body? Yeah. What?
It's just crazy to me.
Yeah, it's absolutely wild.
Be like, there's a dead guy over there. Sorry, I have to show you these pictures.
It is fucked.
Wow, look at that. You see the blood on that? Whoa.
Really get in there so you can appreciate how gruesome this is. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Enhance.
But there's a lot of fun things like that, which I think also play into the whole them kind of setting up David Copperfield as the red herring.
Yes.
Because there's this whole thing of like, well, how's he pulling this off? Yeah. Right? And so it leads you to believe, oh, well, of course, a stage magician, someone who's, skilled at doing these illusions and quick changes and all this stuff would be able to handle this.
Yeah.
Again, there's a lot of good there.
Yeah.
But a little weird too.
Yep. We get other goofy stuff in it too, like partway through the movie when they start suspecting that, oh, people are definitely dead because like they've found actual dead people now.
Yeah. I think it's the third victim. The killer doesn't bother to hide. Yeah.
Well, he hides them, but like an arm falls out when the train gets jostled.
And not really hidden though. Anyone who would have went to check on her would have found her. But then they're like, okay, this actually is like
this is a murder. Her throat was slit.
Something is happening. Yeah. But there's like, he again makes a crazy decision at one point to just like run to the back and slam the emergency brakes of the train and everybody just goes swinging. And I'm like, what do you hope to accomplish by this?
Yeah.
Like, you're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
You're not at a train depot.
And it's like snowing outside. Most people are like not wearing costumes.
And he's like forcing everybody off the train to like take attendance. And I'm like, again, what do you hope to accomplish here?
While the other people who work on the train go car by car to check for the killer or whatever. Yeah. And again, they don't know who it is, but this is where Jamie Lee Curtis and friends start to be like, I bet it was this kid that we did this prank on. And she does a really fun lore drop that like would have been great information to have earlier in the film. But after they do this prank and then he's institutionalized, she, I guess, kept up with him.
She felt guilty. They're trying to make her seem like a good person in all of this.
Yeah.
But she had kept up with him and she tried to visit him in the hospital.
Yeah. And she finds out that he fucking killed somebody
Yeah.
while he was institutionalized.
Or he had done it like before.
Or something like that. And it's like...
I think the official explanation that I saw in the wiki, like the implication was that he had killed someone before and he was deemed like it not responsible or
so he like released him.
And then this happened and then they were like, oh no, he's lost it now, you know.
But yeah, no. She puts it out and then like we were watching it with our friends and then I'm pretty sure he was like, our friend was like, yeah, that would have been great to know. It was definitely that guy.
Yeah,
that's definitely the guy that's doing this.
Him. Yeah,
the guy that's killed somebody already. Yeah, he's doing this.
That all the dead people were really mean to. Yeah,
yeah, it's him.
And it's hilarious to me too because Jamie Lee Curtis just like whips out a yearbook that she happens to have with her.
Yeah,
and it has to be from the 3 years before because like the kid's been in the hospital for this amount of time. But she just like whips out a yearbook and she's like, see? And it's Kenny, but he's in like the college, fucking student magician lovers club or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Some kind of magician hobbyist club. Yeah. And it's like, okay, so clearly it's Kenny, but Kenny is David Copperfield.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where they really try to sell you on this idea that it's David Copperfield is the villain of this, but he's not. We get the reveal later when they think they've kind of like solved it all. And she's like flipping through a little booklet thing and there's this box it's Chekhov's trick sword box that David Copperfield is just like stabbing swords into earlier, apropos of nothing, and it doesn't come up in a trick later.
Yeah.
I guess maybe it was going to, but the show got cut short.
Yeah, because people started getting murdered. Yeah.
But the box just like swings open, and David Copperfield's dead body is inside.
So
stabbed through with the swords, and you're like, oh, so it's not him.
The killer is still active.
Yeah. And then at the end of the movie is when we do get the big reveal where they show you that it was the assistant the whole time, and by showing you that, they show you a shot you saw earlier, but they zoom in a lot more, so you're
like, oh, I can see.
Yeah,
now.
And as soon as I zoom in, you're like, oh, yeah. Obviously, that's him.
Clearly. And I just want to say too, because I think we would be doing a disservice if we didn't discuss this at length, but during the final confrontation, because after Jamie Lee Curtis discovers, oh wait, it's actually the magician's assistant, we're still in danger, she runs to the employee car to get help, and she sits down with who she thinks is one of the employees, but it actually ends up being Kenny, who has done another costume change and is now dressed in the train outfit. But they have like a weird tense conversation where she's like, you don't have to do this, Kenny, I'm so sorry. And for whatever reason, and I still don't really know why, like Kenny has her do this, it like sets her up in this awkward way and is like, kiss me, Alana, like you mean it. And they have the weirdest on-screen kiss I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I mean, the kiss is weird. He does it because that's what she says to him.
Right.
And he's traumatized by it.
But, like, actually has her do it, and it's just a whole bizarre
And then this is
thing.
where we get Spin Volume 2.
Yeah.
He gets smooched.
Yes.
And his reaction is to get up, and then he somehow finds something else to get tangled in on the train.
There's like a coat rack behind him with some jackets on it, and this fucking idiot
like a magnet gets head straight for it while
cannot spin without spinning onto fabric. But it's insane. And then there's a whole like fight between Jamie Lee Curtis and Kenny. The big final countdown. Sorry. All of this goes to the final moment when Kenny gets pushed out of the train.
Yeah.
As it is going over a bridge.
Yeah.
And his body falls into a frozen river below.
Yeah.
And he's dead.
Which is it, but see, that's selling it a little short because it looks like when he's falling, it's from the perspective we have, the body's just gonna go bloop right into the water.
Right.
Keep going. But they cut just before it would do that, and it slams onto the bank,
smashes into some ice. God, it's brutal.
And it's so sudden, and just like we literally, all of us were sitting there like, holy shit.
It's crazy.
That guy's definitely dead.
Yeah, like if they did not want to leave it open.
They said there's not going to be a sequel.
We are not doing this again.
Well, where are we going to get another magician? We already killed David Copperfield.
Yeah, he's fully dead. There's not going to be another famous stage magician we could get.
Yeah, and what's that other shitty guy? The angel dude? Chris Angel.
Chris Angel.
Yeah, he's not even relevant. You know, he's probably not even born yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was probably born.
Whatever, too young.
Yeah, but anyway, that's Terror Train. Usually this is the part where we talk about scariest moments. Do you have a scariest moment?
It's so, not really, I guess, we should combine this, I guess, with our rating for it to kind of, give some context. I don't really have a scariest moment. I rated scares in this a 1. It is not scary. There's, not a lot of blood in this movie. We had one of the friends we watched with, she is kind of describes herself as being kind of a baby about...
No, she's brave now. But yes.
Horror movies and everything. And she watched it and she was like, this isn't scary.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's not scary. It is wildly entertaining. I love this movie. It is very, very, very good. But yeah, I mean, saying that, I don't really have a scariest moment for it.
Yeah, I don't really think anything is particularly scary. I think if there's anything, I'll give it... There's, some suspense because of the whole whodunit aspect and knowing that the killer is changing into the different costumes. So, there is some tension and suspense in the scenes when you know that it's the killer, but that person's in a false sense of security because they think it's their friend. So, okay, there's that. That's about it in terms of scary things.
Yeah.
There isn't even really a ton of gore. There's some, but it's relatively mild.
Yeah. It's there's more blood in it than Halloween, the original Halloween has in it, but not nearly as much as something like even the first Friday the 13th movie. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's it's in between there, and it leans way more towards the Halloween not having that much blood in it.
Definitely.
Kind of a thing.
I would say to me the scariest part is probably the blatant disregard that the pre-med students have for the cadavers that have donated their body to science. That's probably the scariest part.
Yeah, that's fair. Maybe the scariest part is the first guy that gets killed. He's clearly the class clown kind of character, and his jokes are fucking terrible. Yeah. It's either that or most of the guys are carrying around inflatable sex dolls.
And they're too into
and it's at first when it happens, because the first one you see is with that jokey character and he's making a joke about it and you're haha, it's not really that funny, but whatever.
Yeah, they're just goofing around.
But then we see more scenes with guys literally just sitting around fondling the dolls, and I'm oh, it's not...
You're being weird right now.
Yeah, so it's it's a thing then. Yeah. Because it's not really a joke anymore, because there's multiple of these dolls.
You're fully making
you guys
out
are
with this.
all in the same train car with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a weird thing. So definitely. Maybe that's the scariest part.
Yeah. So really, more of the commentary of about humanity.
Yeah. Maybe the fact that the most realistic character was a douchebag pre-med guy insisting that everyone call him Doc. Yeah. That seems real. Yeah. And scary.
That seems like somebody you would match with on Tinder that would ruin your life.
Yeah. Yeah, he sucks.
Anyway, so obviously our ratings are, well, they're kind of weird because we did both find it entertaining, but every other aspect of this movie is very low.
It's one of those things that, like, the score we're going to give this movie is going to make it sound bad.
And it is.
And it is bad. But you do need to watch this movie.
Yeah.
It's very good. One of the other things I wanted to very briefly say was that I put the vision category that we have, I put it at a 3. Mm-hmm. Because we briefly touched on it, that like this very clearly looks like it's a Halloween movie, and at the last second they were like, but make it New Year's. And the evidence that we all have to support this, other than what we kind of have that record of, is that there is not a single scene in this movie except one where a character on screen that you can see says New Year's. Yep. Any other reference to it is ADR. It's off screen.
Yep. There's not like a big, you know,
they don't have like a mechanic set up for like
literally
midnight like never fucking comes or whatever. So like it doesn't, none of that's there. And so it's a 3 because it very clearly was supposed to be a Halloween movie, and then they pivoted to New Year's. But I gotta give them at least some props because the impetus for this idea was, what if Halloween but on a train? And they did do that. So
for real. Yep. But total average ended up being a 4.8. So, you know, it's a so bad it's good movie.
Yeah.
The majority of that 4.8 is just in that it is entertaining to watch.
Yeah. For real, if you have like a group of friends or just somebody you want to watch this with, like make a thing of this. Yeah. Get some popcorn, get some snacks, whatever. Get like your favorite soda.
Just be silly about it.
And just pop it on and just it's like an hour and a half long.
Yep. Not long.
It somehow feels a little bit longer than that.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
But in an okay way.
Yeah. It's got a band named Crime in it.
And David Copperfield.
And David Copperfield.
So what more do
doing
you
a full
really
magic show in there. And again, it is integral to the plot, so like you can't remove any of that.
No. It's really, really big part of it.
But yeah, make a thing of it and watch this for New Year's. Like if you want a new New Year's tradition.
It's a little past it now, so bookmark this for
go
next year.
Put a reminder in your phone.
If we're still here.
Yeah. Because I'm definitely watching this again. Every year.
It's a good one.
It's a very, very good movie. But yeah, so 4.8 our combined average. Yep. I gave it a 4.6 and you gave it a 5. Yep. Surprising mine was lower than yours. But I gave them a little bit of credit for scariness just for the reasons that I said. I gave it a 3 versus your 1. Because I think it does build suspense. So to me, a 1 is like that's fair. Shrek. That's well, okay. Certain moments. Yeah, maybe. Anyway, I think that's all we got for this episode. Again, happy 2025. Yep. May it be a wonderful new year for all of you. We will talk to you again in a couple of weeks. And until then, feel free to connect with us on social media. Mm-hmm. We are at First Fright Pod on X and Instagram. We also have a Facebook page. It's the name of the podcast, Love at First Fright. And of course, we also have our email address. You're welcome to send us any feedback or movie requests. We'd love some movie requests if there's anything y'all want to see or hear, rather. And that email is firstfrightpod@gmail.com. Yeah, send us in movie recommendations. Yeah, or what's your New Year's resolution? Yeah, I've got a lot of stuff planned out for this year already. Yeah, but we've got some things coming down the pipe. Yeah. So be sure to stick with us. Pretty excited with a lot of the things that we got planned out. But I also every time I say that I have stuff planned out, within that 2-week period, I go and change things around because I'm like, oh wait, no, this. It's not set in stone. Yeah. So I think it's it'll be I suddenly remember this other movie that I really want to put on there and watch, or I'll remember oh yeah, this new horror movie is coming out and I want to hold space for that.
Yeah. But anyway, send us your recommendations, and we'll maybe get around to them at some point.
Yeah.
Probably.
We'll definitely get around to them.
Unless
they're bad.
Yeah, unless it's a bad suggestion.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's all I got. You got anything else, friend?
I think that's all I got.
Alrighty.
As always, scare well. See you next time.
Bye-bye.